Thanks for joining us for CBN News Today. I'm Ephraim Graham. Tensions are rising along Ukraine's border with Russia. In recent days, hundreds of pro-Russian protesters have captured key government buildings in eastern Ukraine. They're demanding closer ties with Moscow. But the U.S. is worried Russia is staging the unrest so it can launch an invasion. George Thomas has more on this latest flare-up.
This map shows the extent of the pro-Russian demonstrations, and they are spreading across eastern Ukraine. The United States is accusing Russia of fueling the protests to justify a possible military intervention.
It is clear that Russian special forces and agents have been the catalyst behind the chaos.
Tens of thousands of Russian troops are less than 20 miles from the border. NATO says any intervention would be a historic mistake. One top NATO general predicts it would take the Russians 3 to 5 days to carry out an invasion. Meanwhile, hundreds of masked men with metal rods and Molotov cocktails remain in full control of the main government building in Donetsk, demanding closer ties with Russia.
The next step is we are going to announce a referendum that is going to take place between now and at the latest May 11th.
Like Crimea, the south and eastern parts of Ukraine hold a significant majority of ethnic Russians. Many of them would like nothing better than to be part of Russia's orbit. Moscow is considering passing a law that would make it easier for Russian foreigners living in former Russian or USSR territories to get Russian citizenship. The U.S. says additional sanctions on Russia's energy, banking, and mining sectors could be next if Moscow does not back down. Some lawmakers, including Arizona Senator John McCain, want Washington to send military aid to Ukraine. In a statement, McCain wrote, "By withholding military assistance, the administration may think it is reducing the risk of further conflict. In fact, the opposite may be true. The decision will appear to Putin as yet another sign of weakness, which may only invite further aggression." Meanwhile, lawmakers in Ukraine's weak transitional government are struggling to cope with the unfolding crisis. They broke out into violent fistfights late Tuesday as members of parliament were debating how to deal with the Russian threat. George Thomas, CBN News.
New hope today in the search for the missing Malaysian plane. An Australian Navy vessel picked up 2 more underwater ping signals in the southern Indian Ocean. The Australian ship, also called Ocean Shield, has detected 4 transmissions from the area. Crews hope they're coming from the plane's data recorders. Many have compared the search to trying to find a needle in a haystack.
I believe we are searching in the right area, but we need to visually identify aircraft wreckage before we can confirm with certainty that this is the final resting place of MH370.
Officials want to narrow the search area so they can deploy a small submarine or underwater vehicle to search for debris on the sea floor. Israel's Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has asked his ministers to stop holding meetings and talks with their Palestinian counterparts. An Israeli government official says lower-level contacts will continue. The move is in response to what Israel has called a provocative Palestinian bid to join UN agencies. Israel blames the Palestinians for the current disarray in the U.S.-brokered peace talks. The government official says Israel's chief peace negotiator, Tzipi Livni, will be an exception from Netanyahu's order. The U.S. Senate unanimously voted to ban Iran's top pick for its ambassador to the United Nations from setting foot in the U.S. That's because Hamid Abu Talebi is a former hostage taker. He was involved in the 1979 hostage crisis at the U.S. Embassy in Tehran. He reportedly insists his role was only that of a translator and negotiator. But to Texas Senator Ted Cruz, the bill's sponsor, the nomination is, quote, a deliberate and unambiguous insult to the United States. The bill now heads to the House. President Obama and congressional Democrats have been turning women's salaries into an election year political issue. But now the Obama White House is facing scrutiny over its own gender income inequality. A study by the American Enterprise Institute showed women working at the White House earn 88 cents on the dollar when compared to their male staffers. The White House defends the pay gap, saying some female aides earn less because they work fewer hours or have less experience. Those are the same explanations given by professional business groups when defending business owners against their liberal critics. And when measured by hourly earnings, women in the White House are no better off than women in the American workforce. Former IRS agents say no progressive groups were targeted for extra scrutiny the way Tea Party groups were. In the lead up to the 2012 election, the IRS stonewalled Tea Party conservative groups as they tried to gain tax-exempt status. But the Daily Caller reports that according to a new congressional staff report, the White House and Democrats are wrong to say some liberal groups were targeted as well. The report says there is no evidence to back that up. A 9-year-old Tennessee boy is receiving legal help after being told he couldn't read his Bible during an after-school program. His case is just one of many fighting for religious liberty. Our Caitlin Burke reports.
It's an issue of religious freedom, and 9-year-old Austin Grayson knows his rights.
Free country, free religion.
That was Austin's response when a teacher at his after-school program told him he couldn't read his Bible during quiet time.
And apparently they didn't like that. They saw it to be disrespectful.
Austin's mother says the school told her that her son couldn't read religious material because the after-school program is funded by public money.
I felt like infuriated.
The American Civil Liberties Union stepped in to defend Austin. They sent a letter to the after-school program reading in part, Tennessee public school students cannot be denied the right to engage in religious activities.
I'm so thankful that the law has been clarified, not only for Reach, but for everyone that the story has touched.
The ACLU letter requests that the after-school program train its employees on their, quote, obligation under the law to protect students' religious liberties. It also asks that Austin be allowed to read his Bible during free time and activity time.
A good ending.
Yeah, we're ever so grateful.
Definitely.
Caitlin Burke, CBN News.
In Maryland County, commissioners say they will reluctantly obey a federal judge's order barring them from starting public meetings with Christian prayers. A judge ordered Carroll County officials to stop opening meetings with prayers in the name of Jesus. The commissioners voted Tuesday to use only non-sectarian prayers to open their meetings for now. The resolution runs through August 1st, when they hope the Supreme Court will have ruled on a similar dispute in the state of New York. A woman's death has prompted growing calls for a Cleveland abortion clinic to be shut down. According to a 911 call from the clinic, 22-year-old Lakeisha Wilson suffered cardiac and respiratory arrest while undergoing the abortion of a 5-month pregnancy last month. Lakeisha's family buried her on Monday. Pro-life groups across the country are pushing for an investigation. Dr. Alveda King said that the death is the shame of our nation. She said we must pray, we must expose the truth, we must demand regulations of these butchers. We must not allow Lakeisha's death to pass us by in vain. Turning now to health news, one of the easiest ways people can care for themselves is by doing something few are actually doing, and that's getting enough vitamin D. It is crucial for fighting disease, and as Lori Johnson shows us, a lack of it can lead to serious health problems.
Vitamin D, we get it from the sun, from some foods, and from supplements. But despite its abundant availability, an estimated 2/3 of Americans aren't getting enough, and that spells real trouble. A major new study of nearly 1 million people finds the lower your vitamin D levels, the higher your risk for certain diseases, including a 35% increased risk of death from heart disease and a 14% increased risk of death from cancer. Vitamin D is nicknamed the sunshine nutrient because our bodies actually produce it when our skin is exposed to sunlight. To get enough vitamin D from the sun, doctors recommend exposing as much unprotected skin as possible, so no sunscreen, spread out over just an hour or two a week. To protect against skin cancer, make sure you don't overdo your sun exposure. If your skin turns pink, you've been out too long. If you can't or don't want to get your vitamin D from the sun, some foods are rich in it, such as salmon, mushrooms, fortified dairy, and kale. But even they might not contain all the D you need.
Food sources are really limited, so it's best for most people to take a supplement.
Choose vitamin D3. It makes your heart healthy, improves your immune system, boosts your mood, and since you need it to absorb calcium, it strengthens your bones. But beware, even if you take vitamin D, certain things lower it from your system, such as smoking, obesity, and inflammation, which comes from things like eating too much sugar and trans fats. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
Coming up, play a quick 18 with the author of 7 Days in Utopia. Hear why golfers are giving away his latest page turner.
You had a grandpa named Pop, right?
He died when I was your age.
I saw him in heaven.
What if an ordinary boy,
Is this him?
That's Pop.
Your son had a near-death experience.
discovered the answer to life's most extraordinary question?
Do you think my son went to heaven?
He told me everything was all right.
Based on the incredible true story.
We all want to be supportive.
I want to believe him. But everything he talks about is impossible.
Will you believe?
You saw heaven? It's beautiful.
Heaven is for real. See it this Easter. Rated PG.
Hi, I'm Wayne Allen Root, former presidential candidate, conservative national media personality, best-selling author, and true blue patriot. I call what we're living in today the Great Depression 2. More Americans now receive government entitlements than work full-time. The typical family earns less today than in 1989. I understand exactly what's happening to this economy and how you can protect yourself. So I sat down and taped a 30-minute DVD on the topic with all the critical steps needed to ensure Americans can both survive and thrive in 2014. It's called The Timeless Truth About Money. And it's only available in this special TV offer by calling the number below or by visiting online. Thanks to Swiss America, you'll finally understand the true goal of Obamacare, how our trillions in debt will sink the economy, and most importantly, why your golden years require a whole new golden strategy. Call now.
Start planning your journey to the Holy Land. Come to Jerusalem. Breathe the air Jesus breathed that very night in the Garden of Gethsemane. Walk in his footsteps to Golgotha. Step inside the tomb. See the stone where his body lay. Glory to God, he is risen. Ask your pastor or visit goisrael.com to learn more about making the journey that will transform your faith in God and his word. Experience Israel. You'll never be the same.
Former sports broadcaster Craig James has joined the Family Research Council. James says he will use the platform to fight the religious bigotry that he believes led to his termination from Fox Sports. He was let go after expressing opposition to gay marriage in his run for the U.S. Senate in Texas 2 years ago. Fox called him a polarizing figure. At FRC, James will serve as an assistant to Council President Tony Perkins. Well, one of golf's premier events, the Masters, is about to kick off in Augusta, Georgia. But Paul Strand discovered on a recent visit, Christian golfers there are working on ways to make the home of the Masters more famous as the home of the Master.
David Cook wrote a bestseller about a fictional golfer meeting God that led to the movie 7 Days in Utopia. Now the book, Golf's Sacred Journey, has helped kick off a movement of Christians using its message to help real-life golfers encounter Christ. A staggering number have written to a Cook website to tell him about their conversions.
I have asked Jesus to become the Lord of my life. 10,000. We had 69 last month, 129 the month before, and this is 2 years after the movie.
Much of this has come about because Christian golfers have realized just what a good evangelistic tool is Golf's Sacred Journey, now joined by its sequel, Johnny's U.S. Open.
Jim Seacrest of Augusta, Georgia, has given out about 500 books. He orders them 100 at a time and says others are doing the same.
People were buying the books 10, giving them away, buying them 100 and giving them away.
80,000 of the first 100,000 books went out in packs of 10, and that's what we call the Johnny Project.
Johnny is the golf guru in Cook's books, who not only revolutionizes golfers' play, but points them to eternity. So who exactly buys these bundles of books?
It's a guy that says, I want to be a Johnny. I want to make a difference in other people's life.
And it's not just guys. Augusta's Madeline Turner figures she's given away 50 so far.
I've got 2 in my bag. I've got 2 in my car. And when I start running low, I get the shakes. It's like...
Turner's friend Tom Sorrells has passed out about 40. He doesn't present the book as religious or Christian, but as something very helpful.
This little light book may show you how to find rhythm and balance in your life.
Pastor David McKinley pushed golfers in his church to go even further and start an actual golf ministry, since they were less than 2 miles from Augusta National, home of the Masters.
It is a place that is known around the world, and so I realized we had an international platform in Augusta.
Seacrest agreed to head up the new ministry, Warren Golf Augusta. His friend David Cook insisted they use that last word.
He said, Augusta is the name that will draw people to you from all over the world. One day, because of Warren Goff, Augusta will be known for the master versus the masters.
And this group has made itself the home and heart of the Johnny Project, that spontaneous movement that began using Cook's books to reach the lost on the links.
What a wonderful way to share the love of Christ and to be able to change somebody's life.
Carson McDaniel saw this power up close in the life of Tracy, a friend he'd been praying for a long time.
And I just have a tremendous respect for this guy in my life because he was my mentor and he got me in the brokerage business.
Then one day they were golfing in Oklahoma.
We were on the third green and Tracy came to me and said, Carson, he said, I need to tell you something. And I said, what's that? And he said, I gave my life to the Lord. And on a 100-degree day in Oklahoma, it really gave me chills.
Tracy told McDaniel it was because of Golf's Sacred Journey, and McDaniel became a Johnny Project all by himself.
I ended up ordering probably 150 or 200 books.
Johnny Project groups are now starting to form around the country, and Warren Golf Augusta recently held a national retreat featuring Cook to see about ways to step all this up a notch. Because they all realize many golfers will never go into a church to find God, so Christians need to take God out to the golf courses.
It really is a very relaxed opportunity to have natural conversation with people and for long periods of time.
What better way to find out where a man is or a woman is in their life, and are they having any trials and tribulations?
You know, you feel His presence. It's such a peaceful, quiet environment.
So you can share your life, you can share your testimony, you can build a relationship.
Ecclesiastes says that God has planted eternity in the heart of every man.
Many just need someone, like maybe a fellow golfer, to show them how to reach it. Paul Strand, CBN News, Augusta.
Up next, Hollywood heads to the Holy Land. See why more film companies are choosing to shoot their movies in Israel.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, you could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
Inside every child is a hero, a leader, a friend to others, someone who helps out, who does the right thing, who dreams of what they can be. But they still need our help.
What should I do? What should I say? How should I feel?
That's where Superbook comes in. It provides moral and spiritual truths through situations children can relate to, teaching God's Word to the children you love. Join the Superbook DVD Club and receive Superbook's newest episodes as they're available, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of only $25. Get Superbook today and watch the miracles happen.
Location, location, location. When it comes to making movies, anything goes. A movie that's supposed to take place in New York might have been filmed in Cleveland. In fact, most movies about the Bible aren't made in the Holy Land. But as Chris Mitchell reports, that may be changing.
Your sins are forgiven, my son. I thought only God could do that.
Since its release, millions of U.S. moviegoers have already flocked to the gospel movie, Son of God.
Are you the Son of God?
A decade ago, the blockbuster Passion of the Christ spread the story of Jesus around the world. You may not realize it, but the movie Son of God was filmed in Morocco, and Mel Gibson shot The Passion of the Christ in Italy. But recently, more projects with a biblical theme have come back here to the land of the Bible.
My name is Yesido.
Yesido, a new children's animated series inspired by the lead writer's trip to the Galilee, Father of Lights, a documentary shot in part within Israel, and the series Steve's Trek to the Holy Land are all recent examples of projects shot in Israel.
You could say I'm a modern-day nomad.
They do not frame their doings to turn unto their God.
Another major example was the 2012 movie release Amazing Love, now on DVD, that did well in both the church and secular markets.
Hearken, you house of Israel. Give ear, O you house of the king, for judgment is toward you. I know Ephraim, and Israel is not hid from me.
The movie tells the story about the prophet Hosea and his unfaithful wife, Gomer.
He speaks of prostitution while his own wife is a harlot.
The film was shot in the center of the modern-day city of Nazareth and in a recreation of what Nazareth would have looked like 2,000 years ago, called Nazareth Village.
Shooting here in the village, the sets speak for themselves. Really, the facility here to be able to shoot real stones and real mud, things that are built together by hand and hewn out of rock by guys with chisels that we meet, you know, and nothing here is not authentic. Everything here was made the same way it would have been 2,000 years ago.
Kevin Downs, who starred in the movie Courageous, directed Amazing Love. When he first came to Israel, he started to dream.
As a filmmaker, my mind started to spin, and I started thinking, man, could you shoot a movie here? Could you make a story here? Because it would be so impactful.
Downs discovered the joy of making a movie in the land where Jesus walked.
And so it actually was my life's passion. So when we shot our first shot on the shores of the Sea of Galilee, it was like 6:48 a.m. I remember the time. And I sat there and a tear came down my cheek because I felt like it was a dream come true from now, I think, 19 years or so that I've been doing this. And it's like I'm now filming a movie, you know, right where Jesus walked, right in God's holy land.
You know, the one line that just keeps coming to mind, I've heard over and over and over, is life-changing.
Downs got help for the movie from Gary Beyer. Beyer and his wife Cindy started Writers Gathering, an organization to bring filmmakers and storytellers to Israel, what they call the cradle of creativity.
We bring them here in hopes that we feed that well from which they write, or they will decide, I'm going to bring my film here and do that. And that has actually grown to the points to where writers now are bringing their films here. And this is a place where we host them here, a place of stories. We'll scout for them. They'll shoot either along here in the Golan North Shore, or they'll go to Nazareth, to the old restored village of Nazareth. So it's a great place to capture story.
But what about the dangers of filming in Israel?
It's strange at first when you think about shooting in Israel, because you read the news, or you think, it must be high tension there, or it'd be this crazy place you wouldn't want to come to and be dealing with all this stuff. And it's really not that. From the moment I got off the plane, I was like, what's all the, really? this is beautiful. Like, why didn't I come here on vacation?
Downs hopes to shoot another film in Israel and has a message for other filmmakers.
Every filmmaker in our space has got a Bible story in the back of their mind, and I'm going to encourage them to, you know what, pray about it and seek God's guidance to maybe bring you over here.
Chris Mitchell, Nazareth Village, Israel.
All right, stay with us. We're coming right back.
Do you have an idea for an invention or a new product? Brian and Alice Jagosh, the inventors of the halftime drill driver, did. They invented a power drill attachment that lets you drill, flip, and drive in seconds. Brian and Alice licensed their invention to the company that brought you the Snuggie, and it's now selling in major retailers nationwide. Look for the Invent Help Caveman on the package. If you have an invention that you would like to try to patent and submit to companies for possible review and want free information on how Invent Help may be able to assist you, call now. Invent Help is America's largest inventor service company with sales offices in more than 60 cities nationwide. Call Invent Help today for free information. Our clients made a financial gain with their invention, but this is just their individual result. Brian and Alice's experience is not typical, as only a very small number of inventions are licensed or sold in stores.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-559-8567. That's 1-800-559-8567.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
Washington, D.C. saw an especially snowy winter, but now spring is in full effect. Cherry blossom trees are starting to bloom, and visitors are gathering in the nation's capital for a look at the annual event. Right now, the trees are in what the National Weather Service calls the puffy white stage. That's the final stage before the blossoms reach full bloom.
Oh, they're just gorgeous, though. They're absolutely beautiful, and it's the first spark of spring.
It's totally much better than it was like last week. I'm not disappointed. I mean, half of them are out, but then some of them are not. But you know, it's just still fun to come and see them. If I would have been a week later, it would have been a little bit better.
Nice, beautiful, sunny weather. Can't ask for much more, except for maybe a few cherry blossoms.
Indeed, visitors will be able to see more blossoms when the trees hit peak bloom in just 4 to 6 days. Each year, the cherry blossom trees attract 1.5 million visitors to our nation's capital. Beautiful sight indeed. Well, that is going to do it for this edition of CBN News Today. You can find more of our exclusive coverage of the issues you care most about at cbnnews.com. And take the time to tell us what you think about the stories you've seen here today. You can do it on Facebook or at CBN News on Twitter. Hope you'll join us again right here tomorrow. Make it a wonderful Wednesday, everybody.
Inside every child is a hero, a leader, a friend to others, someone who helps out, who does the right thing, who dreams of what they can be, but they still need our help.
What should I do? What should I say? How should I feel?
That's where Superbook comes in. It provides moral and spiritual truths through situations children can relate to, teaching God's Word to the children you love. Join the Superbook DVD Club and receive Superbook's newest episodes as they're available, plus 2 copies to share with others, all for your gift of only $25. Get Superbook today and watch the miracles happen.
Every day, people are connecting on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Now you can be part of the conversation and connect on topics you care about through 700 Club Interactive. Log on to Facebook, Twitter, or go to YouTube and share your opinions, your prayer requests, and your videos while making friends in our community.
Well, welcome to the show.
Join the conversation on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. 700 Club Interactive. Be a part of the show.